Well, tonight, Columbus City Council passed two pieces of legislation regarding police reform and already put it into city code.
The legislation stems from the 2020 spring protest in connection to George Floyd's murder. During that time, the Columbus Division of Police faced criticism for claims of misconduct involving non-violent protesters.
And NBC4's Karina Chung was at that meeting. She's live now from City Hall to tell us more about these changes. Karina?
Colleen, the ordinances address two very specific issues that were brought forward during the 2020 protests. One of them being police identification, and the other, which is officers and limits on militarized equipment and use of force with nonviolent protesters. The George Floyd protests of 2020, some of the largest demonstrations in Columbus City history, as well as the most chaotic.
Things did not go well downtown, and part of that was because the rules were unclear.
President Pro Tem Elizabeth Brown and Councilman Rob Dorans both presenting ordinances that would change policing in the city. Brown's ordinance mirrors and codifies a federal injunction which would limit CPD's use of non-lethal weapons on nonviolent protesters.
That said First Amendment rights are foundational, and that means that certain tools cannot be used to clear people from the streets simply for peacefully protesting.
The public was able to comment on the changes before passage.
If public safety is to protect and serve, then there is no need for officers to have militarized weapons and equipment.
Now, 2 years later, we're finally getting to some resolution that does what seems like the bare minimum.
The second ordinance passed focuses on police identification. It requires officers to display badge number and last name on all uniforms by the end of this year. Council passed funding to help with that as well.
$150,000 for the Division of Police to have in order to effectuate all the purchases that they need in order to comply with the ordinance.
Brown says it was important to write both ordinances into city code for any future protests.
No matter where they sit on the political spectrum, and that is key, and that's why these things belong in code, so it's not up to our individual whims at any given moment.
The city has faced lawsuits because of the alleged misconduct between officers and nonviolent protesters. Now, Dorans and Brown says these ordinances are important because of accountability and continuing to build trust with the community. Local for you in Columbus, I'm Karina Chung, NBC4.